All right, from RSUs to freedom. What's up, guys? Rico here once again. No fancy intro or lead in. I'm jumping straight into today's video because I have so much energy around it. Super passionate. That's where I am today. So if you are in tech, chances are you've got stock grants, RSUs, or some kind of stock options. Maybe if you're in manufacturing and all that too. And like most people, you might just be sitting on them waiting for retirement, emergency, or a rainy day. And that's exactly what I did with my Netflix stock. But here's the thing. Nobody ever told me how to actually use it. Not at Netflix, not even financial advisors. And once I figured it out, I realized I could turn those shares into a clear step-by-step plan for income and freedom. At first, I thought I was just saving that stock for retirement or an emergency, like I said earlier. Meanwhile, I was 21 years into tech, burning out, and missing time with my young family. Back then, I just sucked it up and accepted it because that's how everyone else did it. But now I realized I was living in a rainy day. I was in an emergency and I didn't even know it, and I needed to find a better way. And truth be told, no offense, but financial advisors did not help. Most told me to just keep chasing growth, hold into retirement, invest in things like VGT, VOO, which is okay, but none of them helped me figure out how to create freedom now. And on top of that, they wanted 1 or 1.5% of my portfolio every year just for the advice that I didn't actually believe in. So I did my own research, and that's when I discovered dividend and income investing, and everything just shifted. My mindset, everything, my life. I realized my freedom number, which was much lower than I thought. I didn't need $750,000 a year plus stock. That sounded great, but it came with massive expectations and so many strings attached. And I know it sounds privileged now, and it sounds like to some people a dream, but I suffered from lifestyle bloat. The more money I made, the more we spent. We had nicer cars, nicer house, nicer furniture, nicer dinners, nicer vacations, stuff we didn't really need. And the bigger my stockpile got, the heavier those golden handcuffs felt. So I unlocked it strategically. And once my mindset shifted, my stress started to disappear. And it became replaced with joy, family time, and the clarity to design the life I actually wanted. And most tech workers, they faced the same problem I did. When do I sell? I was scared of taxes. I was scared of selling too soon. And my biggest fear, missing out if the stock ran up again. What if it went up $200? Those feelings were so strong and scary, but here's what I learned. While I sold some Netflix stock, the rest of the market, QQQI, VGT, VOO, all the other stocks were running up also. So I wasn't left behind. I was actually just diversifying. I didn't want to leave all my eggs in the Netflix basket, even though I'm a huge Netflix fan. And honestly, the bigger payoff wasn't in the stock chart or the changing in price. It was in my life. I was spending more time with my wife, being present with my kids, traveling. We just came back from Disney World for like 6 days. That return was worth more than any extra percentage I could have made by holding on to those shares. Especially because I was holding on to them so tight. Like it meant like my whole future. It meant losing if I had to use them. Sound familiar to anyone? The next big problem that was happening was inflation. So every year I was waiting, my options were worth less. $1 million today definitely won't buy the same lifestyle in 20 years. And yes, the stock can rise, but tell that to the folks that had their stocks tank over the last 12 months, like Enphase, Moderna, Freshpet. Sometimes waiting can actually hurt you. And if you're still trading your time for money, you're actually losing twice. Once to the inflation, and second, to burnout. But the truth is, stock options and RSUs and grants, they were my key to freedom, and they can be yours if you put them to work sooner rather than later. So how soon do you want that freedom? Again, most people are paralyzed by fear. What if I sell too early? What if the stock doubles? But fear is just false expectations appearing real. None of us can predict the future. You can live in what if, but you shouldn't. You can only make decisions with what you know today and start to create the freedom you want now, not 20 years from now, but now. So, I have a question. Has anyone ever held on to stocks or options because you were afraid of selling too soon, or maybe just didn't know how to use them? Drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear your story. Maybe I can help. Book some time with me. Become a member. We can talk about it. Now, I want to share what I did, and here's exactly how I approached it. So first thing I did, I wanted to be sure I was tax efficient in my liquidation and in selling these stocks. And at first, I wasn't intentional. I sold when I felt like it or when I needed money, which sometimes meant a huge tax hit because I wasn't thoughtful about it. Now, I actually stagger the sales, use sell to cover, and plan for long-term capital gains. And if you need a refresher on sell to cover, be sure to check out my video on RSUs and how to use them as tax efficiently as possible. It'll help ease some of the fears you might have, even if they're not RSUs, if they're stock grants, whatever. It'd be a good video to watch. Go check that out. It's too long a concept to talk about here. Moving to step 2, I set clear milestones for myself. So even now, my roadmap looks a little bit like this. So achieve 100K in annual income by the end of 2025. I hit that mark back in July, so check. Hit 150K in annual income by 2026, 200K in income by 2027, and 250K in annual income by the end of 2028. Now, I could probably hit those numbers sooner, but for me, it's about sustainability and efficiency. I'm not in a huge rush, and my passive income paired with my part-time side hustles pay me and my family enough to take it slow for now. Plus, if an emergency does pop up, we have funds to cover it. So we're fortunate enough that we're not like most Americans where an emergency is $500 to $1,000. We're lucky because we can cover that with just our income. We're talking $10,000, $20,000 emergencies. We're prepared for those too. And it's important, if you can put this plan together, so will you. Moving to step 3, discover and research income-focused investments. And this is where things accelerated exponentially. It was like gas on the fire. I was initially only in physical real estate, but that was more trouble than I expected. Toilets, tenants, temperatures, all ate into our profits. So I leaned into covered call ETFs for monthly cash flow, BDCs for high dividends, REITs for that real estate exposure because I do still like real estate, and even crypto ETFs to take advantage of their hype and for diversification. And these vehicles helped me scale my income way faster than I thought was possible. I thought I'd have to figure out how to retire on VOO with a 1% yield, or maybe, even SCHD with a 3% yield. And those were good for growth, but peanuts when it came to income, especially when you compare it to like QQQI, which is around 14%, or if you're into ULTY and HOOW, which is 80 to 100% distribution yield. Step 4, I now have to find a way to balance yield with longevity and growth. So right now my portfolio yields about 23.9%. And yeah, that's high, but as it grows, I expect it to stabilize closer to 14 to 15% in the long term. And for me, that's the sweet spot. It's strong enough for freedom and generating great income, but it's also in stable enough ETFs so that it'll last and won't erode, and I can rely on that income for the rest of my life and pass it down for generations. And the best part, along the way, I'm spending time with my family. We're traveling. We went to the Philippines for 3 weeks last year. Mexico, we do a lot of traveling. And I get to do what I love, creating content like this and coaching people I'm passionate about helping. And I'm pretty stoked about that. My days are fun. They're stimulating, inspiring. Like, I get so much out of my days. So another quick question for you. If you hit 100K in annual income passively from investments, what would you do first with your time? Travel? Start a business? More family time? Turn it into 200K? Comment down below. I'd love to know what you would do with it and how you're planning to do that. So I know it sounds like this was puppy dogs and rainbows, but it wasn't always fun. It was scary and it was challenging. And at the peak of my Netflix portfolio, I had about 2 million in Netflix stock, but I didn't take action. Fear held me back, and I lost, right? It actually decreased in value. And when it started to fall, I realized that doing nothing was a bigger risk. So when it was about at 1.5 million, I finally took action. And that's what allowed me to start building income streams instead of waiting for someday. So with that, now I have a clear plan. And you saw it earlier. I've already surpassed that 100K a year mark. Next, I'm moving to 150K in 2026, 200K in 27, and 250K in 2028. And I am right on track. I'm happy about that. I'm right on track. And even though I haven't hit that 250K yet, what I've already gained is priceless. Like I said earlier, the flexibility, the freedom, the ability to live aligned to my values instead of trading time for money to make someone else more money. And by the way, it also allowed me to build a framework for my investing that's steady and one I can follow forever into the future. And now this isn't about chasing the biggest number. It's about building a life I love with the resources I already have. So, I'm definitely going to fly past that 250K, but I don't need the 750 a year. I wasn't happier then with the 750. I make a fraction of that now, and I'm much happier. I'm less stressed physically and mentally. Like my body is way less stressed out than it was when I was working for someone else. So here is my question for you. Do you know what your RSUs or stock grants could be really worth in income? Don't let fear keep you frozen. Don't wait for someday. That someday can be today. Drop a comment. I'd love to hear how you're thinking about your stock options. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already for more insights on building your financial freedom. Because freedom doesn't have to be 20 years away. It doesn't have to be. It can start today. And again, if you enjoyed this video, learn something new, or just feel more empowered, I'd appreciate if you could share it with somebody who might need this video right now. You could help the community grow. And if you'd like one-on-one coaching, or you want to talk more about your portfolio, or want detailed information about my strategies and more, please consider becoming a member of my YouTube community. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. Messy action's better than no action. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Boom.